I, John, your brother, and participator in the affliction, and kingship, and suffering of Jesus, was in the island known as Patmos, on account of the message of God and my testimony to Jesus. I became inspired on the Lord's day, and I heard a loud voice behind me, resembling a trumpet blast, saying, "What you see, write in a book, and dispatch to the 7 assemblies, to Ephesus, and to Smyrna, and to Pergamos, and to Thyatira, and to Sardis, and to Philadelphia, and to Laodicea." I accordingly turned to see the voice which spoke to me. And having turned, I observed 7 golden lampstands, and in the center of the lampstands, one like to the Son of Man, clad in a long robe, and fastened at the waist with a golden belt. His head and his hair were white, like white wool, like snow, and his eyes like a flame of fire, and his feet like shining brass, when melting in a crucible, and his voice like the sound of many waters, and holding in his right hand 7 stars and a sharp, double-edged sword, drawn from its sheath, and his face was as when the sun shines in his strength. And when I saw him, I fell at his feet as dead. Then he placed his right hand upon me, saying, "Fear not. I am the first and I last, and the living, and I became dead, yet behold, I am living in the eternities of the eternities, and possess the keys of death and of the spirit land. Write therefore what you have seen, what is, and what will come after these. The mystery of the 7 stars, which you saw upon my right hand, and the 7 golden lampstands. The 7 stars are messengers of 7 assemblies, and the 7 lampstands are the 7 assemblies. 1. The mystery of the 7 stars which you saw upon my right hand, and the 7 golden lampstands. The 7 stars are messengers of 7 assemblies, and the 7 lampstands are the 7 assemblies. 2. 23rd degree, chief of the tabernacle. The candlestick with 7 branches, upon the apron, represents what were anciently known as the 7 planets or principal heavenly bodies: Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, the Sun, Moon, Venus and Mercury, and the 7 angels that the Hebrews assigned to their government, to Saturn, Michael, to Jupiter, Gabriel, to Mars, Uriel, to the Sun, Zerachiel, to the Moon, Sophiel, to Venus, Gamaliel, and to Mercury, and Raphael, signifying, in Hebrew, respectively, the semblance, the strength, the fire, the rising, the messenger, the mercy and the healing, of El, the great Semitic god of the ancient patriarchs, as to whom and these planets and angels, and their connection with Masonry, you will be more fully instructed as you advance. To the messenger to the assembly in Ephesus write: Thus says the controller of the 7 stars, by his right hand, who walks in the center of the 7 golden lampstands, I know your position, your industry, and your patience, and that you cannot endure those who are wicked, that you have put to the test those who have called themselves apostles, and are not, and have found them false, and you have had patience, and have suffered because of my name, and have not failed. I have, however, a charge against you, that you have forsaken your first love. I remember, therefore, from where you have fallen, and repent, and practice your former works, failing which, and unless you alter your mind, I will come and remove your lampstand from its place. You have this to your account, however, that you hate the practices of the corrupters of the people, which I myself also hate. Whoever has an ear, let him listen to what the Spirit says to the assemblies. To the conqueror I will give to eat from the tree of life which grows in the garden of God. 1. Thus says the controller of the 7 stars by his right hand, who walks in the center of the 7 golden lampstands, I know your position, your industry. This is the sun, in the center of the lampstand, the center of the solar system. 2. You have this to your account, however, that you hate the practices of the corrupters of the people, which I myself also hate. 3. The practices, the occult, itself. It is the largest empire, the sin of Adam, the occult. It is founded, built, in every city, every country, every influences, every control. It is absolutes, harlot herself, Her name, I am not a widow's, I am a queen. Jezebel. To the messenger to the assembly in Smyrna write, Thus says the first and the last, who became dead, yet lives, I know your affliction and poverty, you are nevertheless rich, and the insolence of those who assert themselves to be Jews, and are not, but are, on the contrary, a synagogue of Satan. Never fear what you are about to endure, for the devil is about to imprison some of you, in order that you may be tried, and for 10 days you shall be tortured by affliction. Be faithful even to death, and I will grant you the crown of life. Whoever is an ear, let him listen to what the Spirit says to the assemblies. The conqueror shall never be injured by the second death. 1. As I have said before, the legislation and administration ones, of the very top high priests, or heads of the church denominations, the Book of Daniel, and the corrupted priest system, or the Jesus, overturning of the coined table of corrupt priests, or whether it is Islam, and its strict obedience and loyalty, or if it's the Christian MAGA churches, or the Catholic Vatican City, or the heads of the Orthodox churches, they are all living in luxury and rich, while pretending poverty. 2. I know your affliction and poverty, you are nevertheless rich. To the messenger to the assembly in Pergamos write, Thus says the possessor of the sharp double-edged sword, I know where you dwell, where the throne of Satan is. Yet you have preserved my name, and have not denied my faith, even in the time of Antipas my witness, my faithful one, who was killed among you, where Satan dwells. I have nevertheless a little against you, because you have there some who are holders of the teaching of Balaam, who instructed Balak to place a stumbling block before the sons of Israel, by eating idol offerings and indulging in fornication. Thus you have also some who are holders of a teaching like that of the corrupters of the people. Be repentant, therefore, failing which, I will speedily come to you, and I will wage war against them with the sword which is in my sheath. Whoever has an ear to hear, let him listen to what the Spirit says to the assemblies. To the conqueror I will give some of the hidden manna, and I will give him a white token, and a new name inscribed upon the token, which none but the receiver can understand. 1. As I said before, Mars is the throne of Satan, he holds the flaming or double-edged sword, it swings both ways. 2. I have nevertheless a little against you. 3. I will speedily come to you, and I will wage war against them with the sword which is in my sheath. 4. When an empire rises, he is the cause of empire corruption. Mars, Aries cannot be seduced by the harlot, he will perverse the harlot. The more the harlot perverses the rule, the more Balaam punishes. 5. Because you have there some who are holders of the teaching of Balaam, who instructed Balak to place a stumbling block. 6. The sword turns on the harlot, and the beasts, ending the end of the empire, and its corruption of dominance of free will, that is Satan. To the messenger to the assembly in Thyatira write, Thus says the Son of God, who has eyes like a flame of fire, and his feet like burnished brass. I know your position, your love, and faith, and service, and endurance, and that your latter efforts are in advance of the first. Against you, however, I have to say that you allow that woman Jezebel, who palms herself off as a prophetess, to teach and pervert my servants to fornicate, and to eat idol offerings. I have, however, given her an opportunity to repent, yet she has no desire to give up her fornication. Look, I will throw her into a bed, and those committing adultery with her I will visit with severe affliction, if they do not turn away their minds from her practices. I will also kill her followers by death, and all the assemblies shall recognize that I am the searcher of the minds and hearts, and I will reward each one of you according to your doings. To you I say, however, to the rest that are in Thyatira, as many as have not embraced this teaching, who have not explored the depths of Satan, as they say, I will impose no other burden upon you, except that which you have. Keep it safe until I come. The conqueror also, and the keeper of my institutions to the end, to him I will give a governorship over the heathen. He shall shape them with an iron rod, as vessels of clay are tempered together as I myself was instructed by my Father. And I will present to him the morning star. Whoever is an ear, let him listen to what the Spirit says to the assemblies. 1. Thus says the Son of God, who has eyes like a flame of fire, and his feet like burnished brass. I know your position, your love, and faith, and service, and endurance, and that your latter efforts are in advance of the first. 2. I have to say that you allow that woman Jezebel, who palms herself off as a prophetess, to teach and pervert my servants to fornicate, and to eat idol offerings. 3. The shapeshifter, Venus the Aphrodite, both Lucifer the light-bringer or Prometheus, Hesperus, Vesper, but she is also Jezebel the cup-bearer, Astarte, Ishtar, or simply the morning or evening star. To the messenger to the assembly in Sardis write: Thus says the Master of the 7 spirits of God, and the 7 stars, I know your position, that you are reputed to live yet you are dead. Become watchful, and henceforward stand firm, who are about to die, because I have found none of your actions perfected in the presence of my God. Remember, therefore, how you were instructed and taught. Hold it, and reform. However, if you are not watchful, I shall come like a thief, and you shall not know the time of my coming upon you. Yet you have a small number in Sardis, who have not soiled their clothing, and they shall walk with me in white, because they are worthy. The conqueror shall be arrayed in white robes, and I will not erase his name from the book of life, but I will acknowledge his name in the presence of my Father, and in the presence of his angels. Whoever has an ear, let him listen to what the Spirit says to the assemblies. 1. Again I put of a video. Mercury has been minted on coins, as far back as Assyria and Babylon, through to Rome, and World War I, it was self-explanatory. 2. Hold it, and reform. However, if you are not watchful, I shall come like a thief. 3. Simply means stop controlling the money system and creating loan, interest, and department, at the cost of the people. Reform. Because fallen empires' money is worthless, I come like a thief. To the messenger to the assembly in Philadelphia write: Thus says the Holy, the True, the holder of the key of David, who opens and none can shut, who shuts and none can open. I know your position. See, I have placed before you an open door, and none can shut it. Although you have little power, yet you have guarded my message, and have not denied my name. Therefore, I will give those of the synagogue of Satan, who assert themselves to be Jews, and are not, but I will make them come and bow before your feet, and know that I have loved you. Because you have guarded my message resolutely, I also will guard you in the time of trial, which is coming upon all the inhabited world, to test those who dwell upon the earth. I come soon. Secure what you possess, so that none may rob you of your crown. The conqueror, I will make him a pillar in the sanctuary of my God, and he shall never be put out of it. And I will write upon him the name of my God, and the name of the city of my God, the New Jerusalem, which will descend out of heaven from my God, as well as my own new name. Whoever has an ear, let him listen to what the Spirit says to the assemblies. 1. Jupiter, Marduk, Zeus, is the key none can open, and none can shut. Jupiter orbits the Sun every 12 years, 1 year in each zodiacal sign, the original zodiac, yet he has little power. He is also Gabriel, the judge, who decides when to open the door to Mars, and the flaming sword. Mars cannot act alone. In the legend, Zeus struck Mars with a thunderbolt, stating, "It's not your time yet." The judge will judge at the right time. 2. The Sumerian accounts. The Epic of Era. Mars speaks to Jupiter, Marduk, at the state of the temple and the state of the nation. Why is the Sakatu adornment, symbol of your lordship, which was full of splendor like the heavenly stars, taken with dirt? Why is the face of the crown of your lordship, which made Halanki bright like Itmananki, covered? I will make Prince Marduk furious, remove him from his dwelling and flatten the people. 3. Again the 8,000-year-old texts repeat the same narrative. Mars will remove the Jupiterian Empire, and flatten the people. The flaming sword cuts back, and slays the harlot of empire. Again, whether it's a flaming sword, a pillar of fire, plagues, destruction, it is the sword of Mars. To the messenger to the assembly in Laodicea write, thus says the veritable, the faithful and true witness, the beginner of God's creation, I know your position, that you are neither cold nor hot. I wish that you were either cold or hot. So because you are lukewarm, and neither hot nor cold, I will vomit you out of my mouth. Because you say, I am rich, having become wealthy, and have need of nothing, and do not know that you are wretched, pitiable, poor, blind, and naked. I advise you to purchase from me gold refined by fire, in order that you may become rich, and white clothing, so that you may clothe yourself, and prevent the shame of your nakedness being visible, and ointment to apply to your eyes, in order that you may see. I examine and instruct as many as I love. Therefore be in earnest, and change your mind. Attend. I stand at the door and knock. If anyone should hear my voice, and will open the door, I will come in and dine with him, and he with me. The conqueror, to him I will give the privilege of sitting with myself on my throne, as I also conquered, and sat with my Father upon his throne. Whoever has an ear, let him listen to what the Spirit says to the assemblies. 1. Saturn, lukewarm, Nithya angry, and Nithya sad, who is also chronos, time, chronograph, chronometer, chronology, chronicle, geochronology, chromatography, chronological, are all aspects of time, or measuring time. 2. This is to mean the satanic nature of the empires and absolutes, the heavy soft metal lead, the metal of Saturn, and the slow nature of time, is coming to an end. 3. I examine and instruct as many as I love. Therefore be in earnest, and change your mind. Attend. 4. God is calling Saturn to attend, ending the empire and its absolutes in its tracks. And again, the Ancients' association of the planets and the 7 aspects of human thought. It is human nature to control and rule, but when absolute rule is triggered by a dragon-talking empire, the unseduced holder of the sword strikes the empire down. It is a repeating event since the dawn of man, and here we are in 2026, and an empire rose in one day, it will fall in 1 hour. Are you understanding why this is in the Bible, but hidden behind mythology, ideology and faith, to submit your free will, because you gave it away so freely?